Yo, how's it going to do back in the video? And today, I'm going to talk about how Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks will shock the NBA going into this year. As from what I have seen, at least in my own eyes, I have seen the media not talk about the Dallas Mavericks pretty much at all. When they're talking about contenders, dark horse contenders, really anything they do with an NBA championship, the Dallas Mavericks are never ever mentioned. And I'm not even a Dallas Mavericks fan, I'm a Pelicans fan, and I still think the Dallas Mavericks deserve a little bit more respect than they are actually getting overall. I think they have one of the best all-around built rosters, and I think they have one of the best players in the league, and they have made other improvements to make the team better around him as well. So I'll begin to a few of those reasons video. So if that does sound interesting to you, please hit the like button and subscribe button. It means the absolute world to me. And without further ado, without running on too much, just get right into this video. Okay, so the first thing I really want to give for this video is going to be the all-around improvement of the entire roster from top to bottom for the Dallas Mavericks. Now, it doesn't look like they made that many changes, but if you just look at the internal development of this team, I think there's going to be a big difference going into next season. Because even starting with Luka Doncic, Luka has spent his offseason in a completely different way we've ever seen him use it, as he has spent this entire season with the Slovenian national team. And the reason this is such a big deal, because this has him in some of the best offseason shape we have ever seen Luka Doncic in since entering the NBA. The biggest knock on Luka is that he isn't a very hard worker. Obviously, he's extremely talented and a very good player, but he's not a very hard worker in the offseason, and Luka is kind of proving them all wrong, as he is in immaculate shape right now playing for the Slovenian national team, and he is absolutely balling out for them, and he is getting reps in, he's practicing, he's getting better, staying in shape, while other off seasons he may have been coming in the NBA a little bit out of shape, or just not in the best shape possible, like he is going to be in going into this season, due to how he is spending his offseason. So I think for sure that Luka is probably going to come in the best shape we've ever seen him in his career. He's going to hit the ground running, and that is a very scary thought just due to how good Luka already is. Luka's already a top 5 player in the entire NBA, and now he's coming in even better shape, and with an offseason where he did nothing but play basketball at a very competitive level. That is a very, very scary thought for the rest of the NBA, and they should be at least a little bit concerned of how good Luka could be going into this season, and he just might be able to snatch up that MVP that he has been conversation for year after year now at this point. But then even going past just Luka Doncic, if you look at the all-around roster, they did improve it in a few ways, as the most obvious one being that they traded for Christian Wood, and that trade was a huge win for the Dallas Mavericks, because the best player that they had to trade in that was Boban Bogdanovic. I know I screwed up his name, dude, get off my back, but still, that was the best player they traded, and although they did love Boban over there at Dallas, Christian Wood is just way too talented of a player to pass up, and he is kind of almost the perfect player to fit around Luka Doncic, as Luka is a great passer, but he can score with the ball in his hand. He just needed another guy that can kind of just play off of him, and that is exactly what Christian Wood is going to do. Christian Wood can get a bucket if they need him to. He can handle the ball if they need him to. He can play perimeter and paint defense, which is extremely important to put someone alongside Luka that can do that. He can catch lobs. He can be good in the pick and roll game. He can be a pick and pop player. He can do so many things, spread the floor for Luka, and he just is a swift army knife of what he can do, and he just fits with Luka Doncic in a very perfect way, and I think that they're both going to be able to play off of each other very, very well, and I think that trade is going to help the Dallas Mavericks get to new heights that they couldn't with their original roster that they had last season. And now another way I think this team's going to improve, they're going to be getting Tim Hardaway Jr. back for this season. Tim Hardaway missed the entire season pretty much last year after getting injured midway through the season. He was not able to play at all in the playoffs, and that is a huge loss, because Tim Hardaway Jr. has been with the Dallas Mavericks for a very long time. He knows their system in and out. He's a great veteran for them to have, and all around, Tim Hardaway Jr. is just a very solid player. And now that he is back, they're just adding 15 points per game to their bench, and that would have been so helpful last year for them in the playoffs. And now that they're adding Christian Wood plus Tim Hardaway Jr. back, that is going to be a huge, huge addition for this team. And it's not even like they didn't have to give anything up for it. They didn't have to use draft capital for it. They're just adding 15 points per game just from getting healthier. So I think for sure that the Dallas Mavericks are going to be a better roster going into this season than they were going into last season. Now, I know, yes, they did lose Jalen Brunson, but the Knicks gave Jalen Brunson a ridiculous contract for who he is. He's not an all-star level player. player. He's not a star level player. He's just a very, very good player. And I don't think Jalen Brunson was worth that contract. And if they want to keep Luka around and keep continuing to try to build a better roster around him, they had to let Jalen Brunson walk. They could not sign him to a massive contract like the New York Knicks did. So I think for sure that the Dallas Mavericks made the correct decision right there. And they're still going to probably be better even without him, just because they added Christian Wood and they're getting Tim Hardaway Jr. back as well. So I think for sure that that team is going to be a better team going into next season because of it. And although those are the by far biggest ways that I think this team is going to improve going into next season, there's a few other smaller additions that they made that will kind of marginally improve how good this team is going to be. The first one is going to be that they did sign JaVale McGee. Now, although JaVale McGee is attracting a full MVP, and he's not a great player by any means, he is just a very, very solid player to have on your team. He's athletic, shot-blocking center who can rim run, he can grab rebounds, he can bang in the paint, and he's just an all-around very solid veteran to have on a team that is as young as the Dallas Mavericks that are trying to win on the biggest stage. And JaVale McGee does have experience winning championships for what it's worth, and he is just a very all-around nice, solid veteran to have on your team. And then the last thing I want to even touch on, and I don't think it's going to matter that much going into the season, but just on the slight chance that it does, I do want to touch on it a little bit, and that is the drafting of Jaden Hardy. Now, I was not very high on Jaden Hardy at all going into the draft. That's because a lot of people had him going in the lottery, and I just completely disagreed with that. But Jaden Hardy, if he hits, and I'm not saying he will because I'm not high on him, he has a ton of work to do, but if he does hit, they got one of the most talented players in this draft, because Jaden Hardy is a freak of nature athlete. He's a top 1% athlete in the entire world. So if he can just get the shooting down, he can get his shooting percentages up, and can get to where he can get his own bucket consistently, they got one of the best players in the class. But that is a very, very hard thing to hit on, and it is a very much of a stretch to say that he will hit on that. So I'm not saying he will, and I'm not saying he's going to impact them a lot going into the year one, but he did show flashes in Summer League, and if he is able to hit and get better and grow as a player over the next few years, he could be a very solid player for the Dallas Mavericks going into the future. But that was basically the last thing I really want to get into. Those are all the ways I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to improve as a team and all around, and how I think they're going to get to that contending level status. But unfortunately, guys, that's my first video. So if you do agree with me, please comment below. And if you do disagree with me, also comment that below as well. I love hearing your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Do y'all think Dallas is going to be good? How good do you think they're going to be? On your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you haven't pointed the like button, subscribe button, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I hope you have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. So you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.